Hi and welcome to Warcast. Today I will be giving a quick update on my RNG Marines. So this is a randomly generated list for one of the local tournaments. I felt that I've been using the same stuff a lot recently, and I thought one way to get me out of the habit of just building lists with units I like was to randomize a list. So you want to see the rules that I'm using to randomize this list. It is in the description. But for now, I will just run through very quickly how I've made the list so far. Just following one big rule with this, that I can't randomize the next thing in the list until I have locked down the war gear options for the previous item. So the first thing, I rolled a d8 on a chart which determined what chapter tactics I would be using, and I got Imperial Fists. The first HQ that I rolled, because you have to fill out a detachment just so that you end up with at least a legal army to begin with. And for Imperial Fists, I put down that the detachment would be a spearhead. So I needed at least one HQ and 3 compulsory dupe choices. So this is a Lieutenant Smash Fist who will be leading my Imperial Fists. You'll note that they're not in the yellow colour scheme. It's because I have gone for my own chapter, the Astral Skulls. Just lets me fill out a few more of the unpainted models for them. So here's the compulsory HQ choice. And then I rolled a Rapier Weapons Battery as one of the compulsory heavy sport choices. I then rolled a second Rapier Weapons Battery. And then finally, a Whirlwind. So that was the start of my random list. And after that, I started to become a little bit more random. There are basically 6 charts, so you roll a d6 to see which chart you're going to be rolling on, and then you roll a d6 to see which option you're going to be getting. Previously to that, it was only on the option that you needed to take, and you're rolling 3 dice and picking which option you wanted, which is why I've ended up with, for example, 2 rapier batteries. They're going to be particularly useful to the Imperial Fist, so that's why they got picked. After that, it started to get a little bit more random. I ended up with an attack bike with a multi-melter, and I've ended up with some Assault Centurions. I don't think I've ever seen them used, so I'm looking forward to using them myself. There we go, that one, and that one. They're all flamethrowers, and they have the Hurricane Bolters. That resulted in my latest roll. See, I said I was going to roll on camera, and then I got ahead of myself. This is a problem. Being as it's a random list, I'm always wanting to see what I've got next. Also, running out of things to paint. I'm using a lot of contrast paint at the moment, and if you've been using them, you realise that there's a bit of a dry time. It's like if you're doing anything with a lot of wash in, you tend to have quite a bit of downtime in between painting models. So I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of myself on this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to roll my next choices on camera, but these ones won't be done before I roll. So what I've got here is an Ancient that I rolled, so that's another elite choice. He is just going to be standard war gear. And then I rolled a Super Heavy. Now, I do have a couple of Super Heavies that could go with this list, and at the time I had the points to fit them in. I still do have the points to fit them in, but the only one that I could really particularly see being useful for this was the Spartan. I have got a Spartan, but it's my Thousand Suns, and I don't particularly feel like painting it for this, and as it's my Heresy Thousand Suns, I don't think a big shiny red Spartan is going to go alongside this army. So every time you roll 2 options, you get a reroll, just to allow you to try and keep some kind of control on the random list. It does mean that you have to pick, when you re-roll, which of the 2 options you're giving up, and then you have to obviously accept the re-roll. So the re-roll on the Super Heavy resulted in me getting Attack Squad, and once again, locking down by showing it on video, 3 guys with bolt guns, 1 heavy bolter, and a sergeant with a chainsaw and a combi bolter. So that is my list so far. I'm now going to roll off for my next 2 options. So see if I can get this on camera. I don't know if that is on camera, but that is a 4, which will be fast attack, and a 6, which I believe is a land speeder. I'll look that up in a second. I've got 5, which is heavy support, and that is a 6, which I will definitely have to look up. So if you bear with me a couple of seconds, I will just look up those options, and then I will tell you whether I'm going to need to do a reroll. Okay, so let's find the correct list now, as I make hundreds of lists all the time. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to have to double check what I rolled in a second, but it looked like 5 and a 6. If it was 5 and a 6, it's a Land Raider. If it's a Land Raider, I'm definitely keeping it. And the other thing, it was either, it might have also been a 5, which would be another tank, at which point I'd probably pick another Whirlwind. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to re-roll the Land Speeder, though. So that's a 1, which is HQ choice, and that's a 2, which is a Chaplain. So it looks like I will have a Chaplain and a Land Raider or a Whirlwind in the list, depending on what the roll actually was. I will go back on the recording, check what that is. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this random tournament army, and I hope you look forward to seeing how well I do. The tournament isn't until February, so we've got a long time before I actually see how well it does. But once the army is actually finished, I'll try and get some practice games in, and hopefully I'll film some of them. Anyway, if you're looking forward to seeing what is happening with this army, or if you just enjoyed this video, if you could like and subscribe. And thank you very much from Warcast Gaming. Happy hunting!